thing is, like lawyer from New York, and he did like a team building exercises for all the lawyers incoming. I was like, okay, let's play D&D, sir.
Oh my god! That's crazy! Hello! Welcome to Tavern Talk, our little podcast that we haven't had in a while and we're getting back to. I'm DJ, your host for today. Now, okay, we have some lovely people over here today with us. First of all, my co-host. Hello, CJ, please. Anything you want to say to this, to our audience today? Any spiels?
Hi, Rangers main, come at me. So, hello, hi.
Rangers. Okay, he's still not over he's not over what happened last time. Oh, and our new person. Hello, this Cara. Like, if you would like to just say hi to everyone.
Hi, I'm Cara from Carabao Chronicles, and it's nice to meet everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, so Cara here is a dedicated TTRPG enthusiast, storyteller, educator, and all-around nerd who's been shaping immersive worlds since 2022, but has been in the hobby since 2019, with a diverse experience working alongside brands like Melee Mats, Fatstrayer, Vespere. She's helped bring dynamic TTRPG experiences to an international audience. Now, through her venture with Carabao Chronicles, Cara is forging a vibrant space for Filipino TTRPG enthusiasts, bringing her signature storytelling and game design expertise to the forefront. With plans to publish books and even more TTRPG content, she continues to champion games like Starfinder and D&D 5e, sharing her love for these worlds with adventurers everywhere. Woo!
That sounds more nerdy out loud.
Well, hey. I mean,
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show amongst us nerds.
Exactly.
We're all right at home here. Now, all right. So, fun little thing we're going to be talking about today, especially since Cara here has been working on something very juicy, very good in the meantime, and has been working on things for a while now. We're going to be talking about Homebrew. Now,
yes, it's Homebrew.
Just to get this out there, I personally have always been interested in like making homebrew / like publishing homebrew. I've been working with friends a lot for it. So I personally, like, even like without this, just have been eager to talk about these things. So hi, I am here to ask for your secrets. Give them to me.
Right.
Yes, we are here to ask for your secret.
Pause. It's
how you...
Yeah.
Take it here.
What? Sorry?
Sorry, it kind of paused for a bit. The video paused for a bit, but it's fine. Audio is tracked separately. It's fuck. Anyway, yeah, give me your secrets, please.
Oh,
I am
okay.
Thank you. Anywho, well, we've already been through a little bit, right? Where you've been playing since you've been in the hobby since 2019, and you've already been working on these things since 2022. How did you first like get started on writing homebrew like professionally and like
So I'll just start on how I first got into the hobby because that enters into how I done this professionally. So
please.
I started the hobby because of my university back then. And then upon entering that, I was like, oh, I really enjoy writing and storytelling. So why can't I have a chime into that? So I started DMing very early, just like 3 to 4 months in when I was a player. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get into? But hey, I'm on this roller coaster, so better push through, right?
How did you find that experience, Cara? Like from DM to a player?
In that short amount of time as well. I mean, relatively short, I mean, some like DM immediately and others like just take stupid long to get to it. Like, you're kind of like, yeah, you went there pretty early on. How was that?
Honestly, I was so nervous during my first session when I was DMing. I was like, I think I put too much into it because I also DM professionally. So I was like, I had like 5 maps prepared, different NPCs. I've only used 2 out of those 5 maps. So I was like,
that's GMing.
That's
yeah, that's GMing, right?
Did I hear that right? Wait, you GM professionally.
So upon like GMing, like, as I said, I wasted a lot of resources for my very first session. My players had fun, yeah. And, but really the act of storytelling and writing and weaving in my own world, especially in a very collaborative setting like D&D, right? That really sparked me to be like, okay, how about if I do something more with this instead of a personal level? I want to try, getting into the game of it with other people. So I started off with Fiverr around 2022.
Fiverr.
Yeah. This was during the pandemic, I believe. So I was bored and at home. So I was like, okay, I have free time now. So might as well
everyone
try
does it
something
during a
more.
pandemic. Everyone's bored.
Right? So I put in 2 gigs on Fiverr. One was for my DMD writing, and then one was for DMing. And from there, that's when everything jump started. And I didn't know it would accelerate to this level. I thought this was going to be a hobby. I was like, okay, I'm making my living off of this now. All right.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Man.
So, since you said during 2022 you put out 2 gigs on Fiverr, writing D&D stories. Now, these are the questions that we're going to be a little bit going into your process when writing Homebrew. Like during those gigs, it's okay if you can share any specific details on those gigs because
sure.
that's other jobs. But what are your specific step-by-step process on, because this people from Fiverr comes from different countries, right? And from Philippines, maybe US, maybe Asia Pacific. So different sila ng tones, different sila ng needs and wants. How do you create your process for those homebrews, or how do you write your homebrews for those different clients?
If anything, yeah.
Oh,
How
so
did
you're
you
really getting
learn?
into my secret.
Oh dear. Okay, wait. So that we can ease into that, right? Like, we will talk about the secrets. We will. But yeah.
Ignore this question.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
No worries, no worries.
Sorry. How did you learn? Because because you just started it. Well, okay, we're doing this now. And there isn't really a book that really tells you how to get into these things, you know? Yeah. Where did you go to learn these things?
Well, to be honest, when I first started, I would just write stories, right? Little tidbits about NPCs, worlds, and so on and so forth. And the only reference that I was not aware about DM's Guild, really. I didn't really get much exposure. I was really stuck in my own nest, essentially. So when I first got my first gig, I was pressured because, they were like, oh, can you write 2 quests for me? And I was like, okay, I'll do that, sweating in the background. Exactly. But once I got into it, I have, my mental structure because it's like a story, right? So would I put myself in a place where I would be their DM for whoever is going to read this module, or, who I would play this for. So first was like, what is your call to action? What will draw in your players for this quest? And then what is the goal, essentially, or your objective for the quest? What do you want to achieve? And then what are the different steps to take your players doing this while giving them a sense of choice. Some DMs give choice, some DMs don't, but there's options on what to do about it. And in the end, like, what are the rewards or consequences? What would happen if they won or accomplished it? Will they get the gold, get the girl, or whatever? Or will they die during this whole
will
quest?
they die?
Exactly.
That's really the question of D&D. Will the party die?
Will you die?
Right.
Or will you actually do it? At some point it all ends up there. Yeah. Well, I am curious as well. I mean, like, immediately my brain just hearing, like, call to action, right? Like, I think, like, adventure hooks, and also on, like, the storytelling side of things, it's like, hero's journey, question mark? Like, yeah. Like, did you look into, when you looked into, like, making your games, or not your, like, your modules, your homebrew, or everything, like, did you look more on the writing side of things? Did you look more on, like, the mechanical side of things, Like, what did you really rely on there? Especially considering what we've talked about so far.
Yeah, so my basis was always like, what story do I want to tell to these players, right? But, there's also the mechanical aspects that you have to consider when you're achieving this certain sequence. If you play like other TTRPGs, or rather even video games, they have a sequence on how to achieve from point A to point B, or even visual novels. There's like a branching point of where they end up. Do you get the point? But
do you get the point, or do you get dumped?
Or you die alone? That's a choice. But
that's a hiring choice, but it's still a choice.
Exactly. And if you have like experience playing games, it's very applicable when you're writing about it. And if you have like an idea of how a story works, those two certain things coincide together, like in achieving these certain points. But the unique thing about writing for TTRPs in particular, there's player agency. There's some things in the module that will not be covered, right? So the thought process is how to make it easier for the DM to tackle things in case A and B and C don't work. Like, what notes do you have for them to bring them back? Because, derailing happens, right?
Yeah. Like, you can never truly predict how the players are going to act. Like, you can even, you can try to nudge them in certain directions, but, like, well, hey, man, if, like, the party just comes up one day and is like, okay, I'm just going to kill the quest giver, like, right now.
Every party, when you say to every party, like, no shenanigans, like, they will take it as a challenge to create shenanigans for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Some players want to make your lives harder. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So if you see like official D&D modules like Curse of Strahd, for example, like the opening of that, there are different things to draw in to go of it. Rather getting the players get into Barovia. You can do werewolves, you can do something to draw them into the forest, and so on and so forth. But the question is, how do you keep them hooked, right? Like, do you have an NPC to keep them around,
Yeah. How do you keep them engaged?
Or exactly. And you have to consider, the character's storyline. That's what some D&D modules do really well. They include, like, if they're a cleric, this is what you can tie into their story or something. For example, like I think not Frozen 6, I think it was Dragon's Isle did that really well.
In terms of, like, well, that's like all like the story type things, like tying in the narrative, like the players into the narrative. How about again, because at the end of the day, you're still dealing with like the game mechanics and everything. Like, for example, like, okay, you want to make like a new monster, or like how do you make sure like the CR is right? How do you even calculate CR? It's not even there in the book. Like, those kinds of things. Like, also, and like there's also like giving things to like players, right? I mean, like, subclasses, subraces, races, all those things. Like, how do you go about that because if anything, from what I've seen, like that kind of content is a lot more prevalent, because like less people are writing like modules and more like just make whatever race or like class thinks like so that they can play what they want, right? But then if you're, say for example, giving extra content to a player that's like more grounded in your setting, right? Like, how do you go about that? And also, there's like on the GMing side of things, how do you go about monsters that fit in your setting?
I totally understand. So when it comes to like adjusting the mechanics, at least let's start with in terms of adventure modules. First, you have to know who is this aimed for? Like, what's their level and how many players would potentially enter into this story, right? So this is the base point of where you're starting the adjustments. Because of course, you don't want to give them a DC 20 perception check to like a level 1 party, right?
Yeah.
Nothing will happen, right? So once you have that basis and of establishing who are you making this for, the next part, which I consider always, how long will this last, right?
Yes.
So that's another very important thing. Will this be for 4 hours? Will this be a whole campaign level or something? That's another part. And once you have that initial preview or idea point of your adventure module, then you can start considering other factors like what's the CR level? The thing that I personally like to do, I like to use CR calculators to help me adjust the levelings. So you can find some good references like on Dungeon, however you spell that. That gives a good idea for like
Fight
party
Club?
exactly.
Kobold Fight Club, even like 5e
And you can
tools has like
adjust
a
like
thing.
different encounters. Exactly. And you can adjust the encounters that you put into your module. The next thing is difficulty class. So, like I said, I think this is just common sense. You don't want it too difficult for certain situations.
Yeah,
Unless
I
you want to
mean,
make the Tomb of Annihilation. That's up to you,
yeah, like if that's the
Yeah,
vibe, that's the
I
vibe.
guess,
However, okay, like
I
can we
guess
at
I'll
least
be
have the
guilty too.
players live? Can we at least have the players live like the first, like the first 5 minutes?
Yeah,
you
exactly. Let
know,
them at least know what they're doing.
because it's like like if the, like at the end of the day, you're also like still coming along to like play like a game, right? So like how long, like like especially for games like TTRPGs, where I mean you're allotting like longer time frame. It's really hard to get a game done in like an hour or something. Like usually
Exactly.
you're pushing like at least 2 hours. Like often like from what I experienced, it's like 4 hours. So it's like ooh, um, you gotta have enough for like at least a session of that. Mm. They can't die that early.
Exactly. And you want to make it fair for your players.
Yeah.
And another thing that I like to do for filler, in case they derail, I like to make RNG tables. So different
Ah.
points of encounters or different things they might see in this certain setting. This could give them a good idea of like, bring more interest to the storyline.
Mm.
So, or maybe if you're in a town, the RNG table would be different. Maybe you can have a rumors table of like stuff you hear amongst townspeople.
I love that.
Oh, that's really interesting. Like parang hindi the RNG table brings another layer to the story na parang hindi
Mhm.
lang hindi lang linear yung story mo. Like you have a lot of things to do.
Yeah. It shows that the
I feel
Exactly.
like
world is
that's
moving
great.
and then yeah,
Yeah, the world is
the
moving.
world is
The
moving and
world
then
is
like
really
it's just the little bits of information that you can feed your players. It's like, ooh,
Hmm.
Mr. Hen
Like
is cheating on his wife? Sorry.
exactly, you can put that. Or you can be like, oh, they found a bug. It's not just any bug, it's a special kind, when they're going through the
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
Hmm.
How much like I mean, of course, you can't like prepare for like every scenario, right? Like so
Mhm.
like whenever like something completely goes gone and you like, as we put ABC don't work and everything, or it's already fully gone there. I'm losing my train of thought. Excuse me. Hold on. Hi. It's been a
No
long
worries.
day.
It has been a long day.
It has been a long day.
Understandable.
What do you think would be, especially for like a new DM, right, where they don't necessarily know
Mhm.
how to adjust, like, what are the most important things that they should have?
So, when it comes to a module or just the DM themselves?
We can go with DM themselves
Let's go
first,
DM
then let's
themselves. Yeah.
So, what I'd say after my time of DMing, one of the most important things to have is the idea of what you want to achieve in the session.
Mm.
So, like, what is your basic outline of what you want to go on? Like, key points that are really relevant for you and for the sake of the campaign.
Mm.
Like, even if they derail it, there's still a way to put at least 2 or 3 out of the 10 points that you want into that session, right?
Yeah.
And of course, this is a collaborative game. So it doesn't fit to just the DM controlling the whole world. Yes, we are godlike. Yeah.
Yes, we are God. However, I mean,
However,
you are
players have
God's
choice.
favorite little.
Yeah.
They need to have a sense of freedom. I'm putting that on air
Exactly.
quotes.
So
Mm.
our players are the main characters. We're not really the main
Yeah.
characters. We're just the weaver of worlds. We're the storytellers here. And we're helping our players to achieve certain goals that they want for their character. And that's the beauty of games like D&D or Starfinder, Pathfinder, etc.
Like we should be a
That we
fan.
enable that. Exactly. So I don't know if all DMs consider their players send the backstory. That's the question. So I think that makes it more interesting and in depth to layer and
Mm.
for sure.
How about for the module side of things? I mean, like we've established like what you like to have in terms of like yeah, um the random tables. But then what are the absolute essentials that a GM must have so that they can say that they're prepared to like run this game no matter what
Mm.
happens.
So the important things that they need is to read the introduction,
Yep.
like know who this is for,
Mhm.
and also having an idea of what is the outline of the module is important too. And what I'd say, which is not really conventional, if there are key NPCs in this module, it's really helpful for a DM to bring back the players into the storyline, or even key figures or places to take note of. If you know like the highlighted bits of the module, this will help you follow through what you essentially planned with.
Everything's in the intro and everything's in the outline. Just
Mhm.
guys, read.
Yes, read.
Mhm.
That's
This,
the
this is the key takeaway of this of today's episode. Read.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, in terms of, let's go back down to like your journey, right? You started on like Fiverr and everything, and then
Mhm.
whoa, like 2 quests. Like, how did you end up, like, how did it escalate? Because
Uh,
boy, did it
Like
escalate!
you're saying, Gigi, how
Did
did it get worse?
you're making it sound like the roller coaster went
Uh,
down. I was like, oh
no,
gosh,
wait,
Like,
is my
wait,
career over?
sorry,
you're
sorry.
saying like, how did it
How did?
get worse?
No, it's
Like,
like, okay, how did we
they need
get
help.
to here? No, wait. No, okay, okay. Yeah, but how did we get to here? Because it's I mean, it's crazy like to me to hear like it's like such a jump, right? Again, like just I mean, casually like, oh, it's there. And then like actually getting a hold of like the resources to say for example, like publish things or, you know, like making more of a name for yourself and like going, especially like internationally as well. How was that for
Uh,
you?
so at first, I was trying to build like a reputation with TTRPGs, or at least on Fiverr, because like back then I think I was the only woman who was doing this, who was DMing and writing TTRPGs. So
Crazy.
it was going to be tough because all of my competition are men, right? So
Mm.
I first started like trying to do my best into this industry. So when I started in, I did a lot of personal work for people, like for DMs, who are too lazy or who don't have the time to make a story for their players, but they want to, deliver. I would do that for
Mm-hmm.
them, like a ghostwriter essentially, and bring them
Yeah.
stories for them to tell their players.
Mm-hmm.
So this brought like a lot of attraction to like people who wanted to publish. So I've worked with, like mentioned in my introduction, Vespre, who was going to release this game on Steam. I think it's Archon's Arena, and I did like script lines to get started. And I've also Googling it.
We're going to put an image of Archon's Arena on the screen for viewers
Mm-hmm.
to be familiar
Sorry,
with
go
Archon's
on.
Arena. Sorry, Liz.
No worries, no
Go on.
worries. So I was working along with Archon's Arena, doing like script lines for their shopkeep. And then like other people came in from wanting just like writing. People wanted my consultation. They wanted my expertise on like TTRPGs themselves. So I've gotten approached, like I said, with melee mats who wanted to help me to help them with their next product launch. So they were thinking, uh, what do you think of these rulers and stuff like that, and all of these different paraphernalia to make D&D better for players and even the DM? And soon that's when I started giving consultations as a service to people, because it's not just professionals who want to get more like information out of me or like my secret.
um sorry.
But it was also like, regular DMs who wanted to improve their skills, wanted to approach me to have like coaching and services, or even players. Like, how do you even role play? That's a new skill that some people don't have.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
And
true.
from there, I got a lot of trust from the public, and I met someone who pushed me to get into like publishing myself, because I've always been in the background writing for other people.
Damn. I
So,
mean,
yes.
woo! Woo-hoo! Woo! It's always interesting to me how, like, I mean,
Don't worry, I'm sweating
because
too.
uh, but like, man, like something that's always like sort of itched in my brain, or like, yeah, is because what you do is essentially its form of game development already. Um, like
Yes.
because like you're hooking like you're keeping like a bunch of players hooked. You're setting up, I mean, whether it be combat or stories like that they're going through. It's interactive. It's game development. It's like it's really cool to see that. And like even, I mean, I'm just sitting here and Sean was like, oh, you get like you're like it's such a like wide reach that like something like, I mean, yeah, like writing homebrew can do, or like, yeah, writing modules, writing I like even for something like D&D, and like I still want to see like the Starfinder things. I need to see that one day. But yeah, it's really cool. I love seeing that. That said though, like I've been hoping to like see like more of that like in the Philippines, especially when you really think about it. There's like there's the big one with Islands of Sinauna. Um but then there isn't really a lot of people really off there, out there making their own modules and everything. um like it's really a small community that we have here. So for those that do want to like get out there, right, um where would be the best place to go? You know, where would be the best place to start?
So in terms of looking for resources or like getting into the industry?
We can do both. I mean, let's start with resources first, because I mean, especially for something like this, right? Um, like
Mhm.
something like this and like just game development in general. Like you're already doing like a lot of study of like how, I mean, what does work, what doesn't in terms of that, like what hasn't
Mhm.
been done, how did they do it, how can I do it differently, or how can I adopt like the best parts of it, right? Yeah, like
Mhm.
let's start with resources first. Where do you think would be best to go?
All right. So the question first is for that person. What platform do you want to start with, or TTRPG? Do you want to start with D&D? Do you want to start with Pathfinder? So first, you have to understand what you want to start with,
Hmm.
and then what
Mhm.
I usually recommend is, Reddit is a good resource to find or get your questions answered, because I feel like the TTRPG is very open and also being very critical for the second
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
At some point, at some questions, they are critical. That's true.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, at least you can get like reliable feedback. And, even Facebook groups. There are some TTRPG Facebook groups where you can show your work and get feedback from other people. And also, like DM's Guild, I think DM's Guild is a really good resource, especially when you're starting out, because you can just go through free modules and free content that people made and use that as a reference point to give you a better idea. But
Mm.
also, if you read the Dungeon Master's Guild or Dungeon Master's book
Guy.
or guide, sorry, um,
Yeah.
this
It's
gives
okay.
you like
It's
a
okay.
starting point.
Dungeon
I'm
Master's
also
Guild, Dungeon
tired.
Master's Guide, they're both DMG. It's kind of confusing sometimes.
Exactly.
Guys,
Put
for our
DMG
viewers,
here.
We're all professionals here.
Yes, I am a professional, I swear.
She actually is one. Not
she
that
is
we aren't.
actually as well. We're just posing. We're just posing as professionals,
You
guys.
weren't supposed to admit that, CJ.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Continue.
All right.
Continue.
Oh, man.
Just
Editor,
put
cut
the
that.
clown emoji somewhere on all of us.
Okay. Okay. Editor, cut that.
No way. Oh, man. Okay. Going back.
So yeah, reading the DMG gives like a good idea of what you want to do when you're writing, because it gives like some input of like creating worlds, creating magic items, even
Mm.
and even NPCs. So I recommend also reading through that. Really, it's trying to absorb as many resources as you can, and then you have to try and test it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I think the best place for you to start is at your own table, like testing your own modules with your own players, if you have any. And even the community is more than willing to play test or join in to see how good your game is. So I totally recommend, like, at least build your basis now with your own community, and then you can delve into that world of
Yeah.
like professional TTRPG creation.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Like, I've always been curious on like the playtesting side of things. So, like, I mean,
Mhm.
especially from what I know with like games and like QA and stuff, because like you need like a large set. It's good to like know that
Mhm.
like folks are just like gonna be like down. I mean, it is a nice little space that we have here, where I mean,
Mhm.
people are just like down to like help out and yeah, as you said, like criticize properly in a way that will help you make everything that like with whatever you're writing better, your games better, even if it's just
Mhm.
like how you want to run like your one shot or something. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm. How about like where to go, say for example, if like yeah, you want to actually step into like the professional straight up like
So, if you want to start professionally publishing, um, your own content, I would recommend starting with the M's Guild and drive
Mhm.
through RPG. So
Mm.
you can put your content out there. But the thing is, it's a bit slow unless you have a lot of content already
Yeah.
fleshed out and posted onto those platforms. So it takes time. And also, if you work with the clientele, like if you want to go through my route and work with other clientele, this also gives you a good build of your reputation and also like experience for yourself to know what people want. That's the biggest thing that I could take away from my work with Fiverr is that I learned what people like or people really wanted to aim for in achieving further modules.
Like when you were working or not working for Fiverr, but when you were looking or by clients in Fiverr, like you
Mhm.
learn the skills of adjusting to what they want or what
Exactly.
kinds of stories that they want. At
It-
first, I have a question about that. Like, how
mhm.
at first, how does it feel? Pala na parang like magkakaiba yung gusto nila. Paano yung what were your reactions na parang oh magkakaiba yung gusto nila as a
Mm.
writer. Like,
When you're first starting out, for sure you feel very nervous because you really want to try to impress them, and also it's your art, right? So it's like if they don't like it, all that hard effort and also, writing is a very emotional feeling when you write. So I think over the years I severed that feeling. So I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do what they want. But you always have to be open to this feedback because it's very helpful for you. And that's something I learned over the years is that once you open up to change, you can really create even something better than you originally did.
Mm. Let's talk about something a little fun, or like part of the reason that you're here today. We do have something in store, right? Now,
Hmm.
first of all, how did you come upon writing, well, your own module straight up? Because as we've established, right, you've been helping a lot of people like ghostwrite and everything, but then now you're actually able
Uh-huh.
to like, or you're already working on your own things. How did you come about that? Like straight up
You
from
know,
Carabao Chronicles, you know?
oh, the birth of Carabao
like how
Chronicles.
The
did how
birth.
did how how did Carabao Chronicles start? Like, and what we're about to uh uh
Yeah.
sorry, my brain is not working right now, but what we're about to promote during this episode.
Yeah, it's
How
really
did
cool stuff,
everything
by the way.
start?
How did everything start? It's
It's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
I think Carabao Chronicles was always there since the beginning of my career. I just never really established a concrete brand for it because, I was giving the services that what my business does now.
Mhm.
And the brand of Carabao Chronicles, it originally came this year, actually.
Oh.
I was like, okay, because I've been seeing a lot of my clients' work and they sent me like edits of what they brought to me. And I would see their name first and my name second, right after that. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, I'm the one who wrote this whole thing. But this is, I think it was a bit of an ego thing, like my pride. It was like, time to make something
All right,
now,
hold on.
you
I
know?
can do like
I
I'm
can
gonna
do
be the
this.
top name on that because I know my
Right.
work. I can
Yeah,
work.
Top,
I know my way. I'm a boss girl. And
top billing.
exactly. And I also had like clients who would say they would publish my work, but they never did. And at that point, I was like,
Oh.
okay, if they're not gonna do it, no one else will do it for me but myself.
Mm.
So I started there our exposure, not just to myself, but also to the Filipino community, because there's a lot of good stories that you can share, or what I want to share first and foremost, in regard of like adding like you know the Filipino flavor to my modules.
Fun fact,
Mhm.
like, we've actually been approached. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah, we've been approached before by, like, we've talked about this briefly, but I'm gonna bring it over here. Cut this, Quinn. But, so, with that said,
Smooth.
I had a better way to do that, and then I absolutely lost it. But anyway,
Do not cut that, editor. Do not cut that, Quinn. Put that in.
oh man, yeah. So you've been working on a couple of things. We've had the privilege of seeing it so far. But for the rest of the folks that haven't, please, what exactly does Carabao
Okay.
Chronicles have in store
Well,
for us?
all right. So actually, this is a Kickstarter launch that I'm planning for February 2025 of my children's book, and also accompanying that would be the adventure module for kids too. So the children's book is called The Lost Ones of the Mount, and it follows the story of a little Bakunawa girl who grew up in the underground where the whole society is filled with duende. So she tries to navigate through friendship and, her first month of elementary school. So it's a very lighthearted story, and it brings also a bit of a twist and combines Filipino mythos in like a modern take. And a bit about the adventure module. This is like the epilogue of this book.
Yeah. God, I love a story where you just get to be little guys.
Yeah, they're just little guys.
Honestly, I love little guys, and it's also, I mean, it's really cool to see like things linked up to like a children's book. I forget what age D&D in particular was like recommended to be, but like I'm pretty sure it's like less than 10, right? Like you can probably like play it if you're like 6 and
Right.
everything, and that, yeah. So like there is even less content of like just stuff that's just like catered to specifically children, even though this game can be shared with like that demographic. It's just like no one's really tapped into it, so it's really cool to see like one, like the Filipino culture and mythology, like mythos, like straight into it, and two, like bringing it to like a younger audience that really should learn about these things. Like, like get them more informed about Filipino culture in some way. It's a really fun and like yeah, it's a really fun way to go about educating people, or just, if not that, the other way around. It's a fun thing to do that's also educational, Yeah.
Exactly. Most especially because like, the TTRPG, like D&D, can teach kids a lot of things, like how to tell a story, how to write your own character and plot lines. Kids can narrate that, or even math. Like, what's 18
even
plus
math.
2? Okay. Yeah.
Sadly, even math.
It's not hard
look,
math, I hope.
we're teaching kids how to do math so they don't end up like us.
Yes, that is true. Do not be like us, kids.
Censor the faces now.
Oh no. But yeah. Like, I mean, even as like an adult, like there's a lot to like learn from like playing these kinds of games, like how to tell stories, how to communicate. It really like adds up like creative side.
How
of
to
things.
socialize with other people.
Yeah.
Because
How to socialize.
Team building.
D&D is a social game. Any TTRPG are a social game. Like it teaches, like it's basically a PR training for everyone. Like how
It is.
No, the fun thing is, like lawyer from New York, and he did like a team building exercises for all the lawyers incoming. I was like, okay, let's play D&D, sir.
Oh my god. That's crazy. Wait,
Yeah.
okay. I hope to God
Okay.
wherever I work will end up being the team building.
Okay. So you can say that everyone is a rules lawyer there.
No, they didn't know how to play the game, so there were no rules lawyers.
Damn.
Joke didn't land. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to ruin it.
That's fair.
Okay, nasa peak. Okay na peak of humanity na nandun na tayo. Like it's okay. Like we're at the peak of humanity already. But they had no, Cara, you did not ruin it. They did.
They did. How dare they not know all of the intricate rules of how to play D&D in a team building?
Like
That's what
like
lawyers
they're
do, right?
already
They
we're already
read.
at the peak of
Oh
humanity.
no.
Like as human beings, we could all die right now, but right
Hey, not before
now.
this book comes out, CJ.
Oh,
No.
all right, not before this book comes out.
Hey, I need to sell.
Oh,
We're
man,
all
man.
professionals. We're all professionals. Put a professional tag in here, editor. Somewhere around the face.
But yeah. Also, it should be about time. Say, don't we have a little extra thing that we're gonna do, CJ? For the viewers who've made it this far. Little something something. Hi, time out. The giveaway, guys! Yeah, so we got a little something. A little gift for everyone. Or a little giveaway, we might say. CJ, if you could take it away.
Yes. For our audience that is listening, we're going to have a giveaway from our friend here, Cara. She's giving away sticker packs, 3 sticker packs from her book, The Lost Ones of the Mounts. The mechanics will be you just need to like our page RD3 and Tavern Talk on Facebook and Instagram, and also Cara's page on Instagram, the Carabao Chronicles, and like and share the post that is going to go up right after this episode, and also tag 3 of your friends so we can choose the winner. We're going to choose the winner a week after this episode aired or the post went up. Good luck to all the winners. Okay.
Yay,
Bundle
stickers.
packs.
Yes, we're going to give away stickers. Yay. Stickers.
Yay, stickers. Bro!
I need that. I need for this. I need that for
I
this.
do.
Actually.
So,
Actually,
are we part of the giveaway, CJ?
Give yourself the stickers.
Oh, man. Just one last little thing I want to ask. For anyone, who wants to, write homebrew, publish homebrew, whatever. Just get into making their own, modules, whatever homebrew content that they got. What advice can you give them?
So, what advice I could give them? Just get in there, get started. It doesn't take a second to open a Word document unless your computer's slow. And, type away your thoughts, your ideas. And, from there, once you start your own foundation, it can fruition into more. It's all about getting started and using the resources that I said, for a reference point, but it all comes from you because this is your idea, right? And also, don't be too hard on yourself if you don't feel like you're original. No one's really original.
Ever. Yeah. There's probably, a million things online already, but, it doesn't matter. It's your thing. Just, do what's right by you. As long as, yeah. As long as you feel that,
Exactly. And
that you're
have
telling a good
fun.
story.
If you lose fun in this, you won't even bother continuing this.
Yeah.
that's great advice. Have fun.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And
So,
also read. Last one.
yeah, read. This
Yeah,
is the
definitely.
takeaway for this.
Where would you get your inspiration if you don't know how to read?
Exactly.
Also, learn how to read, kids. Learn your
It's
And
ABCs.
that's
help
why you
you.
should get the Lost Ones of the Mounds to learn how to read.
Yes.
Yes.
Stay tuned for that.
Yes, we have more for our audience. We have more content coming up for her book. for her Kickstarter launch this coming February. So please watch out for that.
Yes.
All right. Now, all that said, okay, Cara, thank you so much for enduring whatever this was. No, really. Thank you so much for coming.
For having.
Thank you so much for
me.
coming. We're so honored, like, to actually be able to like bring you on here and like talk about things. It was also very fun talking to you. Very insightful.
Really glad to hear.
Anything else you would like to add? Anything else you would like to? Oh, sorry. Where do we find you? Where else can we find you?
Okay, so I guess you can stalk me at Little Carabao on Instagram.
Oh, that is not an invite for everyone. Okay.
Doesn't mean you
Guys, be
slide into my
nice.
DMs, you know, if you
Be nice. Guys,
Be
be nice.
nice.
Everyone, be nice.
Be demure, be mindful.
Also, you can follow my Facebook page, Carabao Chronicles, or also my Instagram for TTRPG related stuff. So that's also Carabao Chronicles. So, yeah, be nice. I will not respond to DM slides unless it's for work. Yes.
Well, all right, TJ. Anything else to add?
Yeah. It always was and always will be maximum effort, and also Ranger mains come at me.
Stop, brother. They've had enough. Man. Okay. So anywho, that's gonna be it for our show for tonight. I'm GG. That's CJ. Thank you, Cara, for coming along again.
Thank you.
Man,
Bye.
we are so excited to continue, like, to work with you in the future and to show off more of the stuff that you're working on. Man. And to you, the viewer, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on our socials down below, right there. RD3 on like a lot of things. And we'll see you next time. Next time we have a little podcast here. Stay tuned for all new things. See ya.